Okay, so I want to take just a few minutes to talk to you about body cavities, or in Honors Bio 2, what we call coeloms. This information applies to only animals that exhibit bilateral symmetry. Okay, so bilaterally symmetrical animals can have one of three basic body plans. Um, that body plan may or may not include a coelom. And I'm going to explain what that is in just a second. And then also, as I go through this, I'm going to be talking about the primary tissue layers, the endoderm, the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and I'm going to just abbreviate endo, ecto, meso. I'm going to leave the derm off of that. Okay, so now here's where you start writing stuff down. Don't worry about all this stuff in green. So let's talk about what a coelom is. A coelom is a body cavity that is fluid filled. If you've ever gone hunting and field dressed a deer, or you've caught a fish, that's the body cavity. You're removing the organs from the body cavity. If you've ever helped your mom or your grandmother stuff a turkey at Thanksgiving, you are stuffing the mixture into a body cavity. That body cavity is located between the body wall and the digestive tract. So between like the skin and muscles, then there's all that space, and then there's the digestive tract, which we're now going to start calling the gut, because nobody wants to write out digestive tract. Gut's a lot easier. The gut and the body wall area, that space is lined with cells that were originally mesoderm cells. So way back in early embryonic development, those inner layers of cells between the ecto and endoderm, that mesoderm, that's like the ancestor cells of the cells that you have now in those spaces. So first we're going to talk about acoelomates. Anytime you put the letter A in front of a word, it makes that word mean not or without. So an acoelomate does not have a body cavity. So what we're saying is that the space between the body wall and the gut is completely filled with tissues. So there's really no space. Examples of animals that are acoelomates or have an acoelom are flatworms. Flatworms are incredibly flat, small, ribbon-like the planarian in the upper picture, or the tapeworm. And so they're so small, there's just not space for anything other than the tissues and their very, very simple organs, organ-like things, which we're going to learn about at a later date. My in-person students have to color code a diagram to show the similarities and differences in these three types of body cavities that we're going to talk about. So you can see that the ectoderm are the blue cells. Those give rise to the skin in adult flatworms. The mesoderm becomes the muscle, and the endoderm became the gut. So again, flatworms are acoelomates. No space, no coelom. Next is a pseudocoelomate. The prefix pseudo means false. So this is actually what scientists call a false body cavity located between the body wall and the gut. The reason it's a false body cavity is that you can see there's no muscle layer surrounding the gut, so it basically just goes body wall, fluid, gut, or digestive tract. And if that fluid leaks out, like if the worm were to get cut in half and the fluid leaks out, the body cavity can't maintain its shape. It has to have the pressure of that fluid. And so scientists say it's a false body cavity. It's only really a cavity if it's filled with fluid. If it's not, the body can deflate. And so, like I said, you can see that the gut is not lined with cells from the mesoderm. And so basically the body plan is kind of a tube within a tube. Animals that have or are pseudocoelomates are roundworms. Roundworms are fairly small. They're unsegmented. They're tapered on both ends. Some of them are parasitic. Pinworms you may have heard of. Those are roundworms. And then this diagram on the right shows you the cross section. So you can see the pink body wall, and then you can see that fluid-filled space. And again, it's that fluid that provides the false body cavity. If that fluid goes away, so does the body cavity. Finally, forgot. The second diagram that my in-person students colored, you can see that it's the same situation. The ectoderm gives rise to the skin in the adult worms, the mesoderm the muscle, and instead of it being completely filled all the way to the gut, there is that white space where that fluid is. So a pseudocoelomate is a false coelom. And then finally we have coelomates. Coelomates have an actual true body cavity, and you can see from the diagram that yellow digestive tract or gut is surrounded by red muscle. And so the gut and other internal organs are suspended in a cavity, And that cavity is lined with cells that were, again, originally mesoderm cells way back in early embryonic development. Examples of animals that are coelomates are basically everything except roundworms and flatworms. So segmented worms like earthworms, arthropods, bugs, spiders, crustaceans, mollusks like snails and slugs, echinoderms, and vertebrates all have a true body cavity. And so again, the final diagram that my in-person students colored, you can see now that in the pseudocoelomate, it was just completely white all the way to the digestive tube. And in the coelomate, it's got that mesoderm or muscle suspending those organs in the body cavity. Some advantages of having a coelom is that the mesoderm and endoderm can be in contact during that early embryonic development. You might be saying, well, big whoop. Well, the big whoop is that led to the evolution of complex organs made of more than one type of tissue. Also, the organs are protected from the movement of the surrounding muscles. So that means that animals can hunt, they can run away from things, they can find mates, they can participate in sporting events and not have a fear of damaging internal organs unless it's just a severe trauma. Animals can move without damaging organs or interfering with their functions. So those are all advantages of having a true body cavity. Thank you for your time and attention. Now you can go do the review.